to Julie, and thank you to Alison. So, as we've mentioned a few times by this point this afternoon, the theme for this year's event is a new era for business. And I'm going to give you a couple of statistics that illustrate why Riyadh is such a good place, a pertinent place, to be discussing this theme. The first is that over 60% of Saudis are under the age of 30, which all the Saudi women in the room will know already, meaning that this economy is full of possibility. And the second is that women's participation in the workforce has doubled over the past 6 years, which is an incredible statistic in a short space of time. And many of these women have now started their own companies. I know that we have a number of founders here in the room today, and we're going to hear from 3 particularly successful founders in a second in our next session about the future of entrepreneurship in the kingdom and beyond. So please join me in welcoming Latifa Awalan, who is the Managing Director of Endeavor Saudi Arabia, and she's also the founder of Yatouk, which is an Arabic coffee startup. We also have Shahad Jeffrey, the co-founder and CEO of Tafi, a personalized online shopping platform. And last but by no means least, Yara Guth, who is the co-founder of Nukudlet, a fintech business. And they will be speaking to our moderator, Lama Al-Hamawi, who is a reporter with Arab News.
Welcome to our session, Keys to the Kingdom, Saudi Arabia's next generation of leaders. My name is Lama Al-Hamawi. I'm a journalist with Arab News and the founder and host of the Discussions podcast. And it's truly a privilege to be here with you all today. Before beginning, I just have to say it truly speaks volumes to the success of Vision 2030 that Fortune's most powerful women, Middle East, is being held right here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And again, it's truly a privilege to share the stage with so many of the pioneers here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As we know, the kingdom is investing resources to prepare the next generation of innovative leaders and trailblazers, including the 3 women that I'm sharing the stage with today. I want to make this session interactive. So please, as we're speaking, if you've ever wanted to pick the brain of a Saudi female entrepreneur, this is your time. Throughout the session, if you want to take notes on questions that you might want to ask, I will do my very, very best, I promise. I'm watching the clock to give you the opportunity to ask those questions to our 3 female entrepreneurial leaders. Without further ado, I want to just start the discussion by asking the 3 women, what are you doing to contribute to Vision 2030 currently? And let's start with Shahad.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be surrounded by inspiring women leaders. So thank you for the opportunity. I think it's a very interesting time for us as women founders, building with a clear vision, Vision 2030. And we're not just the beneficiaries of Vision 2030. We're actually building for Vision 2030. And in our case, we're building the future of shopping for fashion. We're building an agentic commerce for fashion retailers. And basically that means creating job opportunities, diversifying the economy, leveraging AI technologies, and all that basically contributes to Vision 2030. And then it's a very interesting time because we do have all the support that we need from the government, from private sectors, from investors. So Latifa here is also an investor in Tafi very early in the days. So we have basically all the resources to build and reach Vision 2030.
Latifa, I want to jump to you since you are one of the early investors.
Lucky investors, inshallah. I lead Endeavor in Saudi. I'm an entrepreneur who turned an ecosystem builder. And at the core of what we do at Endeavor is really identify high impact, high growth entrepreneurs early on and support them grow to become impactful companies in the economy. And the beauty of Vision 2030 is that it's based on how can Saudi diversify out of oil, which means we need a thriving private sector that can offset our dependence on government spending and so on. And how can that happen? It has to do through entrepreneurs. Yeah, private sector thrive through entrepreneurship. And today we live in an age where entrepreneurship fostering is in every minister agenda. And that's good for us because it means that entrepreneurs now have the listening ear and the support regardless of the sector they come in. And that's why even at Endeavor we've seen incredible growth since Vision 2030 came out, since 2016. The growth of the number of entrepreneurs we're seeing coming from the kingdom and from outside the kingdom wanting to establish it.
And Yara, you're also a success story of Vision 2030, similar to these two other ladies, and you're also, similar to them, working to empower other women in Saudi Arabia. So tell us how your work is contributing to the Vision 2030.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lama, and thank you all for being here. It's honestly a pleasure to be around such empowered and incredible women. So at Nuqudlet, what we basically do is empower SMEs and corporates to manage their financials and expense management and bookkeeping and basically everything regarding finance that they don't want to be focusing on. We take that, we give them the best streamlined tools to really have clarity and be able to focus on what they love to do other than the finances part. We handle that. So obviously being a woman tech entrepreneur in a very male-dominant field, banking, finance, and being also very young, I basically our team as well is 70% actually women, and 70% are actually young entrepreneurs, so younger than 30 years old. And saying that, we were able to grow at a very substantial rate. We have over 600 SMEs. We have over 80 million in transaction volume. So this just shows that the vision, obviously, like if we're thinking 10 years ago, I don't think this would have been possible. I don't think I would be here sitting and sharing the story of how we were able to grow despite being in a very male-dominant field. But definitely with the vision, with the amazing leaders that we have, it's so different, and it's such a great experience to be part of this change that's happening. We were able to close our round 2 weeks ago of $3 million, so that's something that we're really looking forward to as well. We have VCs from global and local, such as 500, SVC, Omantel, and others. And this just, yeah?
Mabruk.
Thank you so much. So yeah, this definitely shows that there's a huge change happening. There's a lot of women as well in these male-dominant industries, and they're thriving and they're succeeding with also all the support from many different players within the industry, such as also public sector, private, that are investing in entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, funding them, giving them resources, mentorship programs. So yeah, I wouldn't be here without that support, like the country's support and the Vision 2030 and all that is done for the people. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I want to shift our focus to Riyadh more specifically. I always get questions on LinkedIn or Instagram, how can I invest in Saudi? How can I start a business in Riyadh? That's always the common question. How can I secure a job in Saudi? Most commonly, you'd be surprised how many questions I received like that. Funny enough, I was speaking at the Al Faisal Institute for Diplomatic Studies. It was a conversation, a very sensitive conversation, where journalists asked us about different political topics. And afterwards, I had so many of them come up to me and say, how do I create a startup in Saudi Arabia? And I was so shocked by the question. It was so out of nowhere. So I want to ask each and every one of you, as entrepreneurs who've been working tirelessly in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, that have built these incredible companies, what makes the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and more specifically Riyadh, such an attractive hub for investments and entrepreneurship? Latifa, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's an interesting question. And we just published a study that really studied the movement of entrepreneurs, whether from around the kingdom to Riyadh or from across the world to Riyadh. And we were asking, the questions that the research team was trying to answer is entrepreneurship in Riyadh just for Saudis? And if non-Saudi entrepreneurs come to Saudi, are they contributing or are they consuming resources? What are their challenges? What are the opportunities? And what was interesting in the study that we saw, that actually almost 50% of entrepreneurs of tech companies have been established since 2016, meaning there has been like a huge growth in terms of tech entrepreneurs moving and establishing. We've found founders coming from 40 different countries, deciding to make Saudi either their headquarter or where they start their company, or another kind who start elsewhere and decide to expand into Saudi. And when we asked them what was the reason behind choosing Riyadh as a platform or as a city, number one is the definitely big consumer base, which means there is a huge demand for that they want to tap into. The second thing that we've heard as well is that they want to come here first because they want to build the first mover advantage, especially for early tech entrepreneurs. They want to come here because they want to make sure that they take advantage of being first movers and establish their presence. And what was really interesting for us, that the openness of the different systems and programs happening in the kingdom, making it much easier for entrepreneurs to establish in Riyadh, is creating a really positive effect in terms of creating entrepreneurial companies in underserved sectors. Meaning these foreign entrepreneurs tend to come and innovate in sectors that not necessarily Saudi entrepreneurs have really strong in, which means that they add diversity and huge impact, which is alhamdulillah, this is really positive. And we went on to ask them, how can we support you? What are the challenges? And the upside as well is that we started hearing from regulators, reading the report and coming to us saying, these are 1, 2, 3 challenges that you shared. How can we support these entrepreneurs? We want to understand more. What was really the problem behind it? And this is, alhamdulillah, which means there is high synergy between regulators that want to open up the market, and there is also strong appetite coming from entrepreneurs themselves wanting to establish here.
And Shahad, why do you think what makes Saudi Arabia such an attractive hub for investment?
I think at least for entrepreneurs, there is right now zero risk actually to build a company, right? You have the support. For example, there is an initiative called NTDP, and they have like brilliant initiatives. They could pay half of the payroll of your tech team. They could pay up to 750,000 riyals in POC cost per customer. So that's almost $250,000 per contract that they could fund you, and many more. And also, like if you are a founder, they could pay your payroll for the first year, matching whatever you used to take. So incredible government support, and I think it's a golden time for entrepreneurs. If you want to start something, you have zero risk actually, and try it out and see how the market responds. Of course, there should be a need of what you're doing, but I think that's one angle of why people are coming and building here. And then there is a lot of untapped potential, a lot of markets that's still untapped. For example, in our case, we're building in the fashion industry, and we are the first fashion tech VC-backed company. There isn't actually a fashion tech market. It still doesn't exist in the region. We're creating it, we're leading it, and that could go into other also sectors. So there is opportunities for entrepreneurs to solve real problems, because they're still, as Latifa mentioned, it's still underserved market. We've been always consumers of tech. Now we're becoming actually building the tech, not just consuming it. So it's definitely a good time also from that angle.
That's brilliant. I couldn't agree more. It is the right time. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are solving real-world problems. I don't want to shout out to the audience. We have Dr. Sarwa Hizaf. If you guys don't know her, she's the co-founder of Sadam. And what she's doing is solving real-world problems. They're targeting diabetic retinopathy. I'm not very good at explaining it. She's explained it to me so many times. But they're using the most advanced AI to make healthcare more accessible. So if you guys I just saw her in the audience and I had to give her a shout out. So if you find her afterwards, she's doing some of the best work I've seen in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Please, honestly, give her a round of applause. It goes without saying. And there's so many remarkable women in this audience. Afterwards, I'm going to come find you and you're You're doing amazing work.
I couldn't agree more.
صح? She's amazing.
Yes,
She's honest.
mashallah.
She's one of the early trailblazers, by the way, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I feel like you should be up here. I don't, not me. Anyone, but you're the one. Genuinely. I want to ask you, Shahad, talk about what, in your opinion, what makes Saudi Arabia so attractive? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yara, Yara.
No worries.
So sorry, Yara. We just finished Shahad.
So, Latifa and Shahad, mashallah, covered almost everything. Just from my perspective, I worked with the Ministry of Investment. I was part of the entrepreneurship and innovation team. So we basically founded as well Startup Saudi, which focuses really on attracting startups all over the world to come to Saudi. So we traveled all over and we realized there's actually a huge demand of people so interested in Saudi. Like, what is happening? What is this vision? Is it really going on? So it was such an honor to go and actually explain to everyone, like, genuinely how the vision and the goals, like how it's, how it actually is happening in reality. And then when they come and visit and they actually see it and they meet the people, they get really excited. I think a lot of them as well are really interested in the fact that, as Shahad mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities and it's a new market. And there's many different industries because a lot of the goals are tied to multiple industries and, innovations that have to happen. And usually those innovations are driven by startups. And because we're also a small population, like a smaller population, let's say, so we do need that sort of like startups to come in and really help develop and reach our goals for the Vision 2030. And honestly, the demand is really amazing. Like everywhere I go, people are in awe about like what we're doing, and when they meet us, when they talk, so they really are excited to come, and they are already coming. You're all here right now, and I think what's important is just to talk to as many locals as well, and just to get connected to them. And I promise you, every local person will open as many doors for you as possible. I think this is something in our culture where we love to give back, we love to help, we love to welcome people. So this is something that I think also is very attractive for them, that there is a lot of opportunities and people reaching out and helping and providing, resources to support them.
I will, yeah.
If I may add, Yara, you brought it spot on. Like one of the top reasons why people choose to come and do business is the culture of in Saudi and how it's welcoming, and they always refer to it as a plus. I want to add something special about women.
Yes.
During that study, what we realized is that there is, when we categorize the type of entrepreneurs that come and set up business in Saudi, there are the natives that have been born and raised here, and then there are people who moved. What we found is that the percentage of women and those who moved to Riyadh is actually much, much higher than local women deciding to become entrepreneurs. So local entrepreneurs, women are at 4%. Outside moving at 13%, which is, I mean, for us, it's a significant difference. And when you ask them why, they would say, we feel safe that to come and start our business here, which is really a positive thing to see.
No, because it is a supportive community. I will add to that. I've lived in different countries, and I've never seen a community quite like Saudi. Even when I started my little media company, it's still a very small startup, but I had tremendous support. I could just pick up the phone and ask for advice from people across sectors. I've never seen that anywhere around the world. Everyone's willing to help.
Which might not be the perception globally on how Saudi women or how live or fare, but alhamdulillah, we're living it and we're seeing the contrary.
Alhamdulillah, we really are. We're down to our last few minutes. I just want to get a good idea from the audience. Does anybody have any questions? I just have one more question to ask our panelists. Dr. Salwa, of course. Do we have a mic? Can we please have the first question?
Thank you very much. I'm here because my job is to empower you. My job is to be here to support you in every way we can. I think being an entrepreneur, I'm a physician by trade. I'm a surgeon actually, but I decided just to move into entrepreneurship because I was so daunted with the traditional health system. There had to be a solution, and the only solution I found was going into AI. And I think to be successful, I always say, you focus on a problem that exists. You have to solve a problem. You did it in your field, you did it. There has to be a problem that exists, yes. And you say, I want to solve it. And when you do that, then you become an entrepreneurship. Your startup will succeed. Secondly, you have to prioritize. Whatever you go into, whatever field, make sure that it's ethically sound, that your regulators can't come chasing you. Because if you want to get investors in, if you want companies to believe in you, even regulators, you have to be sound when it comes ethically. So don't start a business and then look for the ethical background. Make sure they're going in parallel. And last but not least, you have to balance. You know, we all have ideas, but what's the use of an idea if it stays in the lab? Make sure you package it and you take it to the market, because if you don't do that, then you will never succeed. And Riyadh now is Riyadh. I mean, you mentioned beautifully about ladies coming from outside. At the moment right now, and I swear I don't do the recruitment, 85% of our employees are females. And I can tell you 2/3 are from outside Riyadh. They just love to come. They feel Riyadh is safe. And this is where the action is at that point. So thank you for saying what you said. I'm here to support each and every one of you. And then, you know, the driving and everything else, we pushed for it. We were in the Shura Council. We want to make sure, we want to make you mobile. And for me to sit here in the audience, as old as your mother, maybe even old as your grandmother, and I see you guys there, you don't know the thrill it gives me. Because in my days, I had to fight to get up there. I wasn't even allowed to go up there, but I stood there, and to see you guys, that in itself is a thrill. So thank you.
So we're down. Dr. Salwa, thank you so much. I always love hearing you speak, genuinely. She's one of my biggest role models, by the way. We're down to our last minute. Please, if you want to find the women outside anywhere, ask them these questions. But I want to hear from them one last time, if you'll allow me. Just very quickly, do you have one piece of advice for anyone wanting to do the same as you in entrepreneurial?
I would say my number one advice is always network, network, network. Don't leave this room or this conference without having at least 10 new women you've built. And network and build bridges as well. Yeah. So take and give back.
I agree. Shahid?
I would say get a coach that is basically ahead of you, where you want to be, and make her like help you, or make him or her help you like find the best decisions, right, and find the blind spots in making decisions. That was one of the things that really helped me reach my goals.
Amazing. Yara?
Amazing advices, honestly. Just to add to that, for me, it starts here first. I need to work on my own limiting beliefs and my own imposter syndrome. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what that is. And then anything, honestly, that you do put your head into it, like a lot can, happen if you really do believe. So yeah.
I agree. Ladies, thank you so much. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you for our audience. This has been everything.